thing, there's an update to the guy who charged 69 cents for gas. This was in California, Northern California. His name, we know it now, is John Cecina. And for 3 hours, he's the manager of the gas station there, Shell station. For 3 hours, he accidentally misplaced a decimal. It was supposed to be $6.99 per gallon. Dang. I just spent $85, by the way, yesterday.
Yeah, get in line.
I did. I had to wait in line to pay $85 for gas. So he charged, instead of $6.99, 69.9 cents per gallon. And he said, boy, I wondered why so many people were lining up. Word got out. People share it on social media. They tell their friends and stuff. And everybody comes by for 3 hours and fills up for 69 cents. It was completely a mistake. One guy said, I filled up for $14. It usually costs me $110. And it cost me $14 to fill up my tank.
Yeah, man.
So they put out the word and said, listen, if you took advantage of this, that was a mistake.
Is that what the follow-up is? They've been... The coffers have been filled?
No, that is not.
Like at the end of It's a Wonderful Life?
So far, let me see how many people have come back. Well, if every time a bell rings, someone came back, no one is getting their wings tonight. Okay, that's the problem. And the manager has been fired. They let him go for doing that, for making that mistake. The owner said he cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. So what am I supposed to do?
Good publicity, though.
For
no such bad.
Are you saying there's no such thing as
bad publicity?
Yeah.
Would you go to that Shell station on the off chance that someone
keep your fingers crossed?
Yeah, if you got some dumb workers there, I mean, there's always
up again,
and somebody might miss a.
We're so dumb you have no idea how you might be saving money. This is the manager,
and I put all 3 prices on there, but the last one kind of didn't go, so I just took responsibility for it, and I said, "Yeah, it's my fault."
So he said, "That's it, I'm fired," but. He has an attorney who says they should absolutely not have fired him for this, and we're ready to sue to get his job at wrongful termination. But that is not wrongful termination in my mind.
I don't think so either.
This is the attorney.
The only way he would be responsible, absent a written agreement, is if he was acting outside the scope of his employment. For instance, if his boss said, whatever you do, don't ever set the price on that gas pump. And then he did.
I don't agree with that. I mean, this is a pretty big mistake. It cost that gas station $16,000 during the time that it was up. So,
do we know any of the mechanisms for setting the gas price? Do you do it at the pump or do you do it inside at the register?
I felt like you did it inside. That you could.
Like there's a master computer?
It seems like you do it inside.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd have to go, would you go pump by pump? I would think it'd be right there on a computer.
And then... Is that the same thing that's tied into, like, oftentimes you'll see
the big sign?
A big sign with, the lighted display of the current price.
That's what I was thinking.
All linked together. So do you think the overhead sign said 69 cents?
No, I think these people were paying 69 on the pump.
I do too,
because that's what they got charged.
Yeah,
So the sign, maybe the road sign did not reflect the pump price.
I don't think it did. I think they're different. And total guess
should be linked.
I think they're yeah. Then he would see.
Then it's the same number.
Then he would probably have an easier time noticing it, that it was 69 cents,
Yeah.
If he might see that.
I don't know how often one has to change if you're a manager.
Daily, it seems
How
like.
often you're changing the prices? Twice a day?
Yeah. Yeah, twice a day.
At least once a day, the thing. Tony, you're talking about gas. This guy got fired for accidentally pricing it at 69 cents a gallon. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was telling Biggie, I got a local store up near the house, and I went to fill up one day, got super gas.
Mm-hmm.
And I got going down the road and I realized I didn't get like $3 worth, but my tank was full. And so I called the dude, I knew him, and called the store. I said, I think something's wrong with your gas pumps. He said, no, nothing wrong with my pumps. He said, they're brand new pumps, good pumps. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I said, but I just filled up and it was like $3, and it usually cost me like 30 or 40. Mm-hmm. And it was silence for a while. And he went out and after a minute, he's like, oh, I got wrong number. No, I'm sorry. And so I actually went back and paid the dude. It was like, I don't know how much, but
you're a good guy. You're a good person. Guy. See that?
You're our hero citizen of the day.
They're putting the clarion call out in Northern California to come back.
They need more people like you. In Northern California.
We need more people like you. I suggested to Biggie, would he do that? And Biggie said, absolutely.
Not a chance. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
At these prices?
Right now. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Anonymous, you can explain to us how you change the price at the pump. He put the decimal in the wrong place. Go ahead, Anonymous.
All right, well, when I give the order to the manager to change the price, I'm a district manager, and they go to the back computer, set the price that the director to set. Then from there, it goes to the register. Then they have to approve it at the register before it goes to the pump. And then they have a remote and they change their, the big sign in the front. So, the manager is aware of the price.
So do you think this manager deserves to be fired for messing it up this badly?
Honestly, I would fire my manager if they did that because, like I said, they are aware of the price they're setting.
They should be. If it goes through that kind of protocol.
We've all keyed in like a number at an ATM.
Yes, but if it goes through a couple of spaces there where you have to look at it once, then it's at the register, you have to approve, that kind of thing. It seems, if that's the way they do it in Northern California, it does seem like you cost $16,000.
This is Shell. They probably, you would think they'd have the best technology available.
Thanks, Anonymous. Appreciate it. That's right. And I see a lot, this guy, is in charge of a gas station. I see a lot of gas station owners one guy put on his sign over the weekend, we hate the gas prices too. We hate it. There's nothing we can do.
Did you honk in support?
I always do. I try to, give him a thumb out the window.
Did you see that? That guy in the minivan just gave us the finger.
So you're telling me the guy inside is straight on? He doesn't want those high gas prices either.
I don't think the owner of the gas station does because, as you said yesterday, they're losing money because people are paying so much for high gas. They're not buying as much.
They don't have anything to do with the people inside.
They don't have anything. They don't go inside. And there's less buying inside the store because the gas prices are so high. That affects everything. Everybody's gas prices are high, so they're cutting back on other things.
Fewer Slim Jims?
Yeah, you're not going to get a Slim Jim. I just spent $90 on gas. I'm not going to go in and load up inside.
Exactly.
They're going to have a surplus of nutrageous inside.
And that's where they make their money. That's where the gas guys make
Mountain Dews and Slim Jims.
Not on the gas. Dave said this, too, yesterday. He said, look, and this is anecdotal. He said, I'm on the streets. People are still traveling. I
remember when he said it.
He was out there driving. You know what it reminded me of? I told Chris Demm this morning. I played golf one time with a professional pool player, billiards player, Earl Strickland. Remember that?
I've seen him play pool.
Okay.
That guy's a master. I've never seen him play golf.
A billiards master. And my friend Phil and I were playing golf. And I was doing real well through about the third hole. And here came this guy walking up.
Was he a single?
Yeah, he was a single. And he said, you mind if I join? Now, I hate that.
I know, I do too.
It makes me feel completely off my game.
But our mutual friend Phil was starstruck.
He said, aren't you
That's Earl
billiards ace Earl Strickland? And Earl Strickland said, I am. I play pool for a living, and I could play golf for a living. And he was an amazing golfer. He goes, of course. He said, golf and billiards, same thing. Spin a ball. Put a spin on a ball, you know where it's going. That's how you do it. So he played, and I proceeded to have the worst round of golf I've ever had in my life. After 3 holes were good.
Spraying it.
Oh, my God. Spraying it.
Because you had an interloper.
Awful. Interloper or Earl Strickland. But my friend Phil is right between my ears. That's why I'll never be an elite athlete.
That's why.
But my friend Phil said he went on to have the round of his life because the two of them were like, how do you chalk your cue? All of this stuff. They got into it. So here's why it reminded me of you, Dave. Anecdotal. Earl Strickland, on about the 17th hole, we got to talking about China. And I don't know why. This was 20 years ago. But Earl Strickland said, I've been to China on a billiards tour. And we were like, okay, yeah. And he goes, they say there's 1 billion people there, but I've been. There's 2. And I said,
argue it.
I said, Earl, just because you saw a lot of people there, does it mean they're off on their count? And he goes, I've been. Have you been? No, I have not been. No. And I proceeded to spray another one left while he hit the green.
And Diesel's like, stop. You're ruining it.
Phil,
sorry.
who did it. I'll tell you. I mean, man.
Chips one in with one hand.
That's right. Oh, my God. Oh, he could spin a ball like you would not.
Did he shoot it?
Did he get up on the green?
And shoot a pool cue on the green?
Yeah, on the green. Okay, if he had a short
With the
one.
end of his putter?
Well, Phil would say, do it like,
hit one in like a pool cue.
So he got, I'm not going to do it. All right. Finally, on 16 or 17, all right, one time.
White ball, center pocket.
I'll do it. Tightless, center pocket. And he said,
$2 billion.
You suckers owe me a beer.
$2 billion. He said, $2 billion. And he said, golf's just like pool. Spin a ball.
Prove me wrong.
That's what he said. He goes, I've been there. You been there? I said, no, I have not been there.
2.
Yeah. I said.
And we never saw Earl Strickland again.
No, we haven't.
We have not. But he and Phil were taking pictures and getting autographs. I was like, let's go. I'm ready to go. I had started the car. I shot like 120. And they shot, Strickland probably shot 70, and Phil probably shot 81. Woo! It was phenomenal.
At least you weren't gambling out there. You lost a ton.
How could I? How could I get? Once he walked up, I said, and we got in the car. I said, I said, that was the worst day of my life. And Phil said, that was the best day of my life. It was unbelievable playing with Earl Strickland.
What are you playing with? Pings? You don't deserve them.
That's what
are you doing with those pings?
Now, let me say this. I have this on the grid for now, Dave. I wanted to wait for you.
Okay.
I didn't listen to you on gas and travel, and I didn't listen to you yesterday when you gave the weather report, and you said, "What? For God's sake, stay inside. It is so hot out there." And so I got the call, I got the text, who's playing pickle tonight? Mm-hmm. I said, I'm in. Something happened to me last night that has never happened before in my life. First of all, and it was because of the heat on the pickleball court. We played 3 hours.
How many people showed up in the heat?
12. I mean, there's a lot of people out. We're playing.
Nobody listens to Dave.
No. Why start now?
It's packed out there.
Yeah.
And I knew early, I was like, man, it is really hot. And I had 3 bottles of water.
And humid.
And humid, and I mean hot. And about halfway through, I started sweating so much that it was coming through my shoes. My footprints were on the court. And people were saying, I've never seen anything like that.
You're squishing.
I mean, I was squishing.
Oh.
I was so wet. I was squishing. Okay, really. And I had never, and I was dripping like crazy. And nobody else was as much as I was. And people were saying, this is a hazard. This is like, we need to clean up the court. This is a slip and fall hazard. That's how bad it was.
Where's the Piso Mojado sign?
I mean, it was unbelievable how much but that is not even what I was going to tell you. Now, I was sweating more than I've ever sweat in my life. And actually, my friend Keith said, dude, it's coming through your shoes. You are so sweaty, it's coming through your shoes.
Did you bring a towel?
Yeah,
change your shirt.
I had a towel. Not a change of shirt, but I had a towel. Next time, I'm bringing 3 changes of clothing.
All right,
Not
sir.
just shirt. Socks, underwear, short.
Where are you going to change your drawers?
Well, they have an indoor facility, like bathroom. And so I would go in there between games because my shorts were just hanging on me. They were so wet. I mean, it's like
barefoot in a public toilit.
I have to.
Squish, squish.
God, even the male hooker's like, no.
When I got home, I took off my shoes in the garage, and as I walked through the foyer of the house, there were footprints. I mean, like I had come out of the pool.
Who's been here?
I mean, like I had come out of the pool. Yeah. That's how sweaty I was. But this is what it leads to. All right, I take a shower. I thought, okay, before I go to bed, I'm going to watch PTI, Pardon the Interruption, which I usually do. I can't just go right to sleep. So I take my shower. My wife's already asleep. Dog's asleep. Took the shower, crept back out to the living room, watched PTI. When I got up to go back to bed, I had the worst cramps in my legs I have ever had. I couldn't stand up. I mean, I was doubled over cramps.
Above the knee or below?
Below the waist.
Like
all over. Thighs. Every time I'd rub one out. Okay. Let's keep it serious.
Gentlemen.
Every time I would rub one out in my thigh, it would start in my calf. I mean, and both feet, both legs.
It's like you're rolling dough.
Cue the Benny Hill music.
Yeah. I couldn't even stand up. That's what it is. I was trying to stand up.
Your son walks by. You hitting the gritty? Let me get my phone.
I mean,
Dad's got a hot foot.
Dad's hitting the gritty.
It was some of the worst pain
I have cramps
I have ever experienced in my life. I had so much pain. And so something triggered me. And this is what I'm getting to. I think somebody had called one time before when we were talking about cramps, maybe on this show, or maybe I just heard it somewhere else. Is it mustard? Take mustard for cramps.
Yep.
And so
I've heard that.
Okay. So I went over to the refrigerator.
Mountain Learning Dave.
I hobbled to the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I took
mayonnaise.
Colonel Dijon.
Okay.
French's.
I had Engelhofer Sweet Hot.
No.
Not gonna work.
I tried that. Didn't work.
No.
I had French's Dijon, okay, like the brown.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't work. Then I saw it. Classic yellow French's. And I just took it to the head. I just took it and squirted. I mean, that was so bad. I was on my knees.
Yeah.
Squirted it into my mouth within 30 seconds. Cramp free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it did work. And I was shocked by it. But even still, I mean, I had been through a battle. I can't even tell you. I went to bed Once I got in bed, I could feel.
You smell like a Reuben. It was for my cramps. You had to eat corned beef for your cramps. No, never. Go back to sleep.
Did you stop at a New York deli on the way home? Is there any left?
3 different sites of mustard coursing through my veins now. But even then, I laid down. I could feel all my muscles spasming the entire night. And with every minute or so, a huge cramp. I mean, like would double me over. At one point, I screamed out in the night. Mm-hmm. The dog got it. I did. I went, because it was my calf. You know how those get?
Yeah.
Like right before I'd get off to sleep, all of a sudden, and my foot would move uncontrollably, like back and forth. It was
that's the worst.
Shimmying and shaking. I never experienced anything. Do you think it was the heat? Do you think that's what it was?
Well, first of all, I think you said you've never sweated that much in your life. Do
Right.
you know why you sweated that much?
No.
Because you drank so much water yesterday.
Well, but when I Googled how to stop cramps, it said make sure you drink plenty of water. And I'd had more water yesterday than I'd ever had.
But I think
in
you
my
might
life.
have overdone it early in the day with the water.
But how can water? Wouldn't you think that would help me?
That's why you sweated more. That's why you sweated profusely out there. Your body was, since it was overcompensating, there's so much heat and humidity. It's got to get rid of it.
Too much water.
There's too much of it in you. It keeps your body sweats, and when you've got that much water in you, it's going to sweat all of it out.
I thought that.
Then you got nothing left.
I guess that's right. Because yesterday we were talking about how I peed 14 times.
You were out there for 3 hours straight.
3.5.
3.5 hours straight.
That's right. Yeah, and I was sweating.
Did you go in the shade at all? How many breaks did you take in that 3.5 hours?
A few. And it was, at one point, by the end
More
of the
than a
night,
half hour break?
Not at a time.
Yeah, see, no, that's not.
My whole body is screaming at me today. Take the day off.
Well, none of this is shocking.
That's Jeff. Jeff.
It's Ford.
Good morning, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jeff.
This is the same point that Dave had that, all that water you drank yesterday morning probably flushed out a lot of sodium. So you were overhydrated with low sodium and went out there and played for 3 hours and then started cramping immediately.
Balance.
Interesting.
I cycle in a lot, and what works for me if I get that way is either pickle juice or olive.
Pickle juice.
That usually does the trick for me.
That's what I should have done. That's another thing.
It's the vinegar.
The mustard did. I mean, it worked originally, but overnight I had terrible, terrible pain. I mean, it was all. I've only slept maybe 2 hours.
I bet that's it. I mean, I think
you're
Jeff
right.
is right. It's your sodium imbalance.
Yes, but
and too much water, you sweat everything out. It sweat every drop of water out of you yesterday.
That's got to be it. Because
and then you had nothing left. Your body's like,
no salts.
There's no water. There's no salt to.
No electrolytes or whatever. But wouldn't you think? Because to me, I thought, how am I getting these cramps? I drank so much water. I mean, it seems like that. But I guess you're right.
Water gone.
It had to be it. Because when I looked it up, like Googled stop cramp, it said make fluids. But yet,
it's balance.
Have you cramped this morning?
Yeah, even here. I mean,
Really?
here at this. I mean, not as bad, but yeah.
Walking or sitting?
Sitting. Every time I move, like if I move a little bit, it's like,
Yeah, your body's in shock.
My body is in shock.
I know.
Whew, I'll never do that again. That's why I laid off a little the water.
You got to balance on the water.
I
during
guess.
the day, so you don't sweat as much at night or when you're working out.
His call does make sense. It flushes all the electrolytes out of you. It flushes all the salt out of you, and then your body goes into shock.
It doesn't just flush the bad stuff out and keep you full. It gets rid of all the good stuff too.
I said to my wife, "I'm dying," and she didn't even look up.
Really?
Well, she was asleep.
Woman got to sleep.
She was asleep, but I woke her one time because I screamed. I mean, it was so bad. She was, I ain't gonna have her.